Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my witches, to all my witches, warlocks, writers, wanderers, weirdos, to all of you out there that are part of this happy-go-lucky community. Obviously, my brain still thinks it's Friday because, opener from Friday, both in the video format and in the speech format. I've been busy, guys. I've been busy working all weekend. It's been a whirlwind of a weekend. Lots of things got done, lots of busy things going on, in the middle of work myself right now. So today is Monday, May 19th, 2025. We are here to get some productive sprints done and to do some conversation topics. I am currently working on, wow. So you guys, I'm just going to start that over all the way from the beginning. So editing Kibby. Start from here. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to all my writers and weirdos out there. I am KibbyRose. Today is Monday, May 19th, 2025. I am here to entertain you with some current event rants while we get some sprints done, even though I am AuthorTube's lesbian psychic stoner. It has been a whirlwind of a day, a whirlwind of a week, and yeah, that is the second time we're gonna redo that opener because it's just been that kind of day. I am currently working on a bunch of screen grabs for the picture project that I'm working on for Dance Moms. I have absolutely completed the 175 videos or edits for the upload, the Rants without the streams. I actually finished all of those videos on Saturday, gave myself a little bit of a Saturday evening off. Then Sunday, my mom and I redid Mother's Day, had a great day, but kind of off-tracked me for a little bit. So I didn't end up going to bed last night until about 3:30 in the morning, which caused me to sleep in a little bit later today, which caused everything to be delayed a little bit today. Not only that, but had to request that the gardener start coming a little bit earlier instead of because evidently we had it lined up where they came at 5 o'clock on Mondays. Did it matter last year when I wasn't streaming? No. Does it kind of matter this year? Yeah, because literally a lot of the stuff they have to do, especially with the blowing of things, is right next to my window. And yeah, if I was on the other side of the house, wouldn't really matter much. But since I'm on this side of the house, it does. So it's been a whirlwind of things. Not only have I completed the first project with the Rants without sprints, but we have started on the second project. Cora and I are already scheduled to start recording again reaction videos on Thursday. I was going to start recording reaction videos on Tuesday because there is a big one where Melissa actually sat down with John Corella, the creator of Dance Moms, and they did an hour-long video, and I will not watch it until I can actually record my reaction to it. However, tomorrow I have a dermatology appointment. So depending on how that goes, I might need surgery. So I do have a couple of moles, especially this one right here on my face that is actually impeding my breathing. I've gotten it zapped away once before, but it came back. And they might have to do some surgery. So we'll see how the appointment goes. If that ends up happening, I'm going to have to probably cancel a couple of my live streams. And yeah, I will keep you guys posted on what's going on from there. But I have two of them. I have one right here and one right here that both need to be taken care of. Don't look at them, please. It's just, yeah. Anyway, on that note, we do have a lot of fun, happy stuff coming though. So starting June 1st, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will be uploading my Rants without sprints. So keep an eye out for that. I am going to start uploading the photo videos, hopefully in June, on our on the Cora and Kibby React channel. So that's coming. Then Cora and I are continuing with our reaction videos, and so that's coming. And then I have If it's not Thursday that I do it with her, if it's not Tuesday, then Thursday at the same, not the same time, but kind of in the same schedule with Cora, I'm going to be taking care of my reaction videos and lining up a bunch of those for the channel as well. So that's going to be coming soon. And then, yeah, I'm putzed right along. I already have all of season 1 of the photo collecting done. I'm now on season 2. I've already got the the video in edit for season 2 at episode 1 photos, and then I'm currently screen grabbing for the project I'm working on today for the season 2 episode 3 picture grab. I'm also kind of like, so I'm doing this thing where I'm taking episode 1 season 1 like outfit check and pyramid with the dance moms, and I'm matching it up to episode 1 season 2 of the outfit check and the pyramid with the dance moms. So I've got a couple extra pictures that I'm working on and combining and throwing in. There's a couple memes that I've come across as well that I kind of correlated. I'm sorry, Brooke. I love you, Brooke, but you're gonna have to check it out because it's kind of funny. But other than that, yeah, that's what I am working on today. Do I have anything set up in the background? No. Was I able to get anything in regards to Cora asking if I have? I have a feeling Cora's going to ask if I have had a chance to listen to the stuff she posted up for me. No. Do I love her for doing it? Yes. Have I gotten around to doing it? No, I'm sorry. Oh, also, that reminds me too. Saturday, I ended up getting 45 TikToks lined up. So all the outfits that I've shown, all the unboxings for the outfits, the dresses and everything that I've shown on my channel, I got all of the TikTok videos and the shorts lined up with those. So there was like 45 of them that I ended up doing on Sunday as well. So hello. Hey, Cora, in and out because it's dinner and then bedtime. I get it. The little ones, you got bed for him. Hello, Muhammad. It's, I don't know what you're saying nice, but hello. Thank you for saying it's nice. But we are going to actually jump into a sprint. So like I said, do I have anything lined up in the background? No. Should I? Yes. Has it been busy? Absolutely. But that's just where we're at. All right. So we're going to jump into 10-minute sprint. And I will see you all in 10 minutes. And when we come back, I have also kind of been distracted a little bit with fashion shows. Spring fashion has hit Italy and everywhere else, and my YouTube has kind of been, I guess I have an affinity for fashion a little bit because anyway, so I've got some new opinions on the Pope because of recent. And why is my Wi-Fi fighting with me? All right, so we're just going to go into a sprint because the Wi-Fi is fighting with me. So I'll see you all in 10 minutes. All right, 3, 2, 1, and sprint. And Amy, it's the same one we've been listening to the last couple streams, except I'm on timestamp 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 45 seconds. All right, that's the end of that sprint. I have no idea how many I got done. Let me find out for you. So 27 photos grabbed and named. So that was the progress on mine. If you did any work, let me know how you did. If you're here for the rants, we're about to get into it. So empty my trash can here. So hopefully, oh, of course, my Wi-Fi starts fighting with me again. I'm getting so sick of this thing. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, I'm not going to be like completely muted or whatever else, but maybe while the Wi-Fi fights, I can add this to the stage and at least get it prepped, and we can get the Wi-Fi to stop fighting with us. So there we go. All right. So that seemed to work. All right. So a couple of things. First of all, I'm not exactly a high fashion type of person. However, I do have to say that if you guys haven't paid attention to the spring fashion that's coming out, just if not for the artistry, if not for anything but the artistry, that's why I highly recommend it. Some of the way that even Jimmy Choo is the first one that I highly recommend. The way that he was able to manipulate fabric into folds and to just beautiful artistry. Like the wedding gown collection is absolutely gorgeous. There was even a dress in there that when it came on stage, I was like, that is Elsa's wedding dress. Like if you were going to get married in the snow, in the mountains, in the beautiful like Canadian or whatever, that was the dress that you'd want to wear, because it literally went from white to like this beautiful light blue. You all know my affinity for blue. So I'm just highly recommending this year's fashion. I'm not usually one who gets caught into fashion. Normally I see the shows and I'm like, eh. This year I'm actually just like, they're pulling all the stops. They're pulling out all the stops this year for spring. So I was highly impressed. And the next, that was just a quick little bit. But on my next big thing, I have a little rant about the Pope and a couple of predictions to put in play, because here's the thing. When I was talking to several people who were handling a lot of the coverage in regards to the conclave and the choosing of the Pope and everything else, they were mentioning that they were looking for a Pope to very much carry on Pope Francis's messages to the general public. If you haven't paid attention lately, Pope Leo's most recent, I don't even want to call it a speech. I want to call it preaching, because that's pretty much what he's doing again. He basically didn't outright alienate the gay community, but he definitely put his foot down in regards to it. And then also he decided to go ahead and throw in his political views in regards to America. When granted, he is from America, but he hasn't lived here since he was 11. And not only that, but he's lived in the country for the last like 20 years, I think it was, of his priesthood, in the exact country that's been invading our country. Do I think everybody in that in the southern countries are all bad? No. Have I been a victim and seen the direct effect of illegal migration into America, living in San Diego? Absolutely, 100%. When I am 25 years old, had been working my butt off since I was 18 years old, and I'm with somebody else, a partner, for the last, I forget how many years, and we both go in to try to get a home loan, and we're denied. But the illegal immigrants that are in the stall next to us get approved for a $10,000 personal loan simply because they were illegal immigrants. Literally, we dropped jaw and looked at the bank rep and said, why is it that we are actual citizens, paying citizens, at the prime of our youth, when we're trying to establish ourselves in the society? Do you tell us that we're denied a $5,000 home loan, but they're given $10,000 for free? So my whole stance on this situation is, yes, I have my own opinions about the Pope, but when I looked into this, I was kind of like, okay, well, whenever I look into how this is going to affect the world level on a scale, I always take my personal opinions out and kind of just looked at it like, okay, well, those are my personal opinions, but how is this actually going to affect the overall aspect of things? And the first thing I heard is that there's going to be a mass exodus on the Catholic religion. He has no idea. Like, the Catholic religion was already struggling to keep its people, to keep its patrons, to keep the congregation there. They were already struggling, me included. Okay. I was born Roman Catholic. I was baptized, had my first communion and my confirmation. We have progressed too far forward as a nation and as a society to fall back as far as Pope Leo is trying to get us to go. There is, like, every time I look at it, every time I get the feels for it, there's something going on here where they're like, yeah, he says that now. He's probably going to be changing his tune very quickly. He's probably going to be giving, like, there might be some divine intervention into this. Another thing is I'm hearing that something, I don't, this is very controversial, so I don't necessarily want to put it out there because YouTube and the way it throws fits, but let's just say there's some people that are necessarily within the church that are not going to stand for these kind of things and these kind of preachings. And I hope that Pope Leo changes his mind instead of somebody changing his mind for him. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but I have a very, very strong intuitive feeling that Pope Leo, what he currently did is not going to gain him the result that he's hoping for, and he's going to have to readjust in order to gain the things that he's hoping for. So on my next little note, I have some predictions in regard to Rachel Zegler and Snow White, Adita, all those things. One thing that came out recently is there's evidently information. I feel kind of bad because, first of all, I have to apologize to Cora. I sent her the wrong, Cora, I sent you the wrong video. I got to find the video that's the right one. The one I sent you was an AI made video off of the other video that actually had the information in it. But they're saying that the director of Evita has come out and basically said that they are no longer working with Rachel because she is too difficult behind the scenes. This is something that I predicted inevitably, was if she didn't change her tune, if she didn't fix herself, things were going to go awry for her behind the scenes. And here it is again. So not only did the relaunch of Snow White fail, and if you guys hadn't heard, Disney tried to recoup their losses over what happened with Snow White by relaunching Snow White on Mother's Day, which doesn't make any sense because not only is the evil queen Rachel Zegler, or Snow White's stepmom, but Snow White's mom passes. Like, why release it on Mother's Day? If anything, they should have released it on Father's Day. Anyway, but it failed cataclysmically, to the point that where the producers of Evita were not afraid to come out and basically state, look, this is why we dropped her from Evita. This is what we're afraid of is going to happen with Evita, and they're not wrong. So Evita is now going to be successful simply because of the fact that they got rid of Rachel Zegler out of it. Did you hear the Annabelle doll on tour? Annabelle doll is on tour. No, I didn't hear what it was on. That it's on tour. It goes on tour every once in a while. I believe it is. Oh, my brain is. I can't think of his name, but he is married to one of the bunny girls I love, Holly's husband, and he owns the Scare Shop in LA. Why is my brain not able to think of anything off the top of my head right now? But he takes it on tour every once in a while. I think it's every 5 years. He has to. From what I understand about that doll is part of the agreement that she won't cause any problems and she'll stay locked up for the time that she is locked up is if she's allowed to be taken on tour once every 5 years. I think it is. This is getting into creepy territory, but most SCPs, in order for them to remain secure and protected, sometimes they need exposure in order to gain, like, there's weird energy involved when it comes to it, and I feel like the Annabelle doll is the same way. Like, she's like, I'll stay locked up for 5 years and not cause any problems if you let me out and tour me once every 5 years, and I'm able to, you know, spread her joy, I guess is a way to put it. However, I'm not surprised. God, what is his name? I can't think of his name. And he used to have a show that is the same as the shop. Actually, it's in Vegas. It's not in LA. It is in Vegas. That's right. He moved it to Vegas. And it's not what it's it'll come. I'll think of it later. It'll come to me later. But what was I going to say? But there is the Annabelle. There's like another there. He also does. I wonder if it's not just the doll on tour. I wonder if he's actually done the whole, like, because he usually takes a couple items from the shop and goes on tour with them. Oh my, this is going to bother me. What is the name of that show? What is the, I'll look it up. On the next sprint, I'm going to look it up and I'm going to have it for you because it's going to drive me crazy now with the name of that, everything. Anyway, so we've got a couple other things that we're going to discuss after this next sprint from the continued Biden cover up. Because, yeah, did you know our past president has cancer? And it's the kind of cancer that there's no way he could have had it for only a couple days or a couple years or a couple months if it has migrated to the bone. I don't know. I've got a couple remarks to make when it comes to that. And then we've got some controversy regarding Meghan Markle's pregnancy. I've got some predictions in regards to the McBrooms. I've got Logan Paul coming up, Jack Doherty. And then, guys, I've got a couple comments on the Tootsie Roll little. If you haven't heard, somebody might have a whole complex because his manhood's the size of a Tootsie Roll. They were in Louisiana and plantation burned down a couple days later. See, and this is the thing, Annabelle, you can't. The Annabelle doll has such dark energy attached to it that there's only so long that you can keep it contained before you have to release it. And unfortunately, we're in Middle Earth. We're on middle ground. Negative energy and positive energy are both allowed to be released here. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll get into that. We'll get into that and much more because I got some guys. I've got some predictions about what is literally going to come up here a little bit. And look, I mentioned the two most controversial topics on YouTube, and what happens? My Wi-Fi drops. But then again, it's been dropping since the beginning, so we can be conspiracy or not. Anyway, so 20 minutes on the clock. When we get back, we're going to cover everything from my ideas on how to fix mainstream media to Biden to Meghan Markle to, increased minimum wage in California to McBroom to Logan Paul. I got a lot to cover. We've got a lot to talk about. So I will see you all in 20 minutes. All right. And in 3, 2, 1, and sprint. And that's the end of that sprint. Well, did anybody get any work done? I got a little bit of work done. I had to refill my coffee, which was drastically dry. Yeah, so I got that, and then 26. Oh wow, we're on a 26, 27 move. So 26 photos done. Collected and named. I also, on that sprint, wasted a little bit of time looking up what we were talking about prior to. And the person that I was referring to was Zach Baggins, which evidently, as of March 24th of this year, he is no longer married to Holly Madison, which is, I didn't know that. So I have to correct that piece of information because I said that they were married prior to the sprint. They're not, as of March of this year. Ghost Adventures is what I remember him from. He owned the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, which I guess did close down. And that is one of the reasons that the Annabelle doll is on tour. The Paranormal State is the new channel show, whatever, that is handling all this. And as I was reading the articles, I figured out why they're having such a problem with the doll. Number one, the box she's in, like, yes, he used holy water and everything else. However, number one, everything he used just pisses her off. Number two, he needs to write some runes on the outside of that box because right now she can get through the glass. And he underestimated that. She may not be able to get through the wood, but just because he used the stain and everything on the wood doesn't mean she can't get through the glass. That's why churches have stained glass windows. So that's how she's getting out. And then second of all, I hear that they're handling her. They're actually taking her out of the box, which completely supersedes the entire use of the box. Like, the box was to contain the negative energy that radiates from her. She is the demon at this point. She's no longer controlled or possessed by the demon. She is the demon. They are one and the same. So basically, they just let a demon out of its box. So whatever comes to them, frankly. That you're dumb. You're dumb. Anyway, and not only that, but whoever keeps handling her, even with gloves on, you really think that rubber gloves, you really think that white cotton gloves are going to protect you? No, dummy. If she can pass through wood, if she can pass through glass, gloves are not going to protect you. Anyway, and not only that, but even the church will tell you there's some negative entities that holy water doesn't work on. So that's just my little rant on that. Why is the Wi-Fi fighting me? I swear, YouTube, StreamYard, Wi-Fi, Verizon, or whatever stream that we use, get your together, because right now fighting the Wi-Fi is ridiculous with how much we pay. So it needs to get together, frankly. And if you guys don't see anything on your end with the Wi-Fi, I'm grateful, I'm glad, I'm happy, because all I'm getting is alert and flag and alert and flag on my end, and it's extremely aggravating. So I'm sorry if I'm sounding glitchy or whatever else. To all of anybody who watches YouTube, write to YouTube, write to StreamYard, write to these Wi-Fi providers and let them know, hey, why when you pay. Okay, I'm just gonna wait. That's why. I wonder, well, no, what I'm thinking is going on is I think that my mom is outside and she probably took her phone outside. And that is going to actually jeopardize the Wi-Fi for me because her phone overtakes anything. I hate this. I wish I could move my office into the next room, but that's okay. Anyway, can you guys tell that just things are really irritating me today? Anyway, I might just jump into another 20-minute sprint here because it's just things that I can't keep dealing with this big red flashy thing in my face. Like, StreamYard, YouTube, you need to fix this, because to somebody who's ADHD and neurodivergent, do you know how distracting this is? to have this constantly happening in flashing in your face. I wish I could turn it off. Anyway, but I want to see if I can prove a point, because what I'm thinking is, yeah. Anyway, so on that note, I had, now we're going to go into a rant, and we're going to hope that the Wi-Fi, that you guys can hear me and that we're not glitching, because with how much we pay for Wi-Fi, and we should absolutely not have any problems with it. And evidently we continuously do. My idea to fix mainstream media. So we all know that CNN, MSNBC, a lot of these mainstream channels are really crash and dying. They're having to pull out their late night shows. They're having to pull out a lot of their main shows. Well, I had this amazing idea that just kind of like light bulb moment when I heard about this. So how amazing, or how cool would it be? What if YouTube, hear me out. What if YouTube ended up buying up one of these cable networks, right? And then take their biggest producers, like, I don't know, Morgan Kelly, Brett Cooper, some of these really big channels. I guarantee you that if they took enough of these really big channels from YouTube, they could fill up the time slots on a regular media channel. And then they would be able to not only have a mainstream media channel that they would be able to control and handle and everything else, but it would also open up YouTube for everybody else. So it was just an idea that I had that I thought it would be really cool. And that way they, the shows, the channels that they move might take a little bit of a hit financially at first, but in the long run, their advertising dollars would supersede anything that they'd be able to make on YouTube. And this was just an idea. Or what if the group of YouTubers, pretty much the mainstream people that got kicked off, it's glitching, isn't it? Like horribly. Okay, we're going to jump into a 20-minute sprint, and I'm going to go see something because I have a theory. And we'll be back. So 20 minutes on the clock, and I will see you all in 20 minutes. So that's the end of that sprint. So I did figure out what was going on, and I was right. My mom kept stepping in and out of the house with her phone in her pocket, and yeah, I was right. The Wi-Fi was dominating. So maybe, hopefully, we won't have any more problems. But I'm not gonna. Basically, it comes down to I'm not going to control my mother's movements. However, but it might not even be that because boom, there goes the Wi-Fi again. We'll see what happens. Anyway, as I was saying, am I going to control my mother's movements? Absolutely not. Should the Wi-Fi work when the Wi-Fi should be working? Yes, because it seems like whenever I come back from doing a sprint, the Wi-Fi wants to fight me. And that I blame on StreamYard and YouTube. Here we go again. Anyway, okay, so we're going to go like this. And I'm actually going to put my notes. I'm not going to be able to see myself, but that might be a good thing. I'm going to put my notes in front of here so I don't see that thing blinking every 5 minutes, and that way it won't drive me crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to go back over the rants that I was saying before that Wi-Fi thing drove me crazy, and I completely got off track that last 10 minutes and just had to go into a sprint because it was insane. So basically I was saying my idea for mainstream media is basically for YouTube to buy up one of these channels, either CNN, MSNBC, or whatever, and to take all of their multi-million follower YouTube accounts, move them onto the mainstream media, give them time slots based on their performance on YouTube. Don't remove their YouTube channels. Keep their YouTube channels there, but just move them onto the mainstream media platform and be able to have their YouTube channels as like a quick bits or a secondary pickup channel for their mainstream media channel. It was just an idea because, like I was saying, it would allow for these bigger creators to have a better and bigger platform to expose themselves to better audiences, which inevitably might shorten their funds in the short term, but in the long run, their ability to gain the advertising that most of them actually make money off of will be astronomical. And then it will also open up the avenue for smaller channels like mine to be able to, get more traction and make it into mainstream. So that was just an idea I had, because there could be a figure eight cross section to this if they were smart about it. So that's was kind of my idea on how they could help recoup some of these failing cable companies or failing cable channels, while at the same time being able to boost the popularity of the people that have already found popularity on other platforms. Please don't do it with TikTokers. I think society has seen what happens when you mainstream TikTokers. Let's stick with the YouTubers and the ones that can actually do long form content. Okay. The next thing I had is actually, I already mentioned that is I'm going to be doing the reaction video. Melissa from Dance Moms did a 1 hour long video with John Corella, who okay, that man's energy just irks me. I'm just going to say it right now. That man, John Corella's energy, it just irks me. It just does. I don't know why. I would probably have to sit down and figure it out with him, but if I ever did. But the truth is something about him just makes my skin crawl. It makes me icky. So I was shocked to see that she actually did a sat down 1 hour video with him. So I will be reacting to that. I was going to watch it, but this was one of those where I was just like, I had such a reaction just seeing the thumbnail that I was just like, no, I've got to actually react to this. So that is coming on, but that's going to be on the other channel. The one thing I did want to talk about was, and this actually kind of combines Dance Moms, and you're going to be like, what does Biden and the Dance Moms have in common? What does Joe Biden and Dance Moms have in common? Oh, cancer. And here's the thing. I don't know if this was necessarily picked up by anyone else, but I noticed prior to Kelly's cancer announcement, okay, on the podcast, if you go back and listen, a couple months leading up to her diagnosis, Kelly was kind of struggling cognitively. She wrote it off as her just being absent-minded or not being able to focus that day. Like, there were a lot of, and they were legit. Like, a lot of the things that she came up with in the moment were legitimate. But looking at the overarching effect, I was kind of like, you know, I remember Kelly kind of struggling a little bit to put her thoughts together and to have commentary on the podcast leading up to her cancer diagnosis. And then in treatment, not necessarily with the radiation, but when they started chemo, again, she was there. Like, you could tell, everybody around her could tell you that she was there, but you could tell she was struggling a little bit. Well, I kind of connected that to how Joe Biden's the now discussion about the supposed decline of Joe Biden's cognitive abilities leading up to his presidency, and now his diagnosis of cancer, which isn't an actual diagnosis, because guys, there is video footage that he mentioned this a while back, like at the beginning of his presidential term last time. However, prostate cancer takes a long time, and it is also one of those diseases that can spread to the bones. But in order for it to spread to the bones, it takes a long time. Well, evidently that's what happened with Biden's cancer announcement. Is not that surprise he has cancer. It has moved to the bones. Once it moves to the bone, there's not much they can do. But I started putting together, what if this cognitive disconnect that I saw in Kelly on Back to the Bar with Dance Moms, and that we saw publicly with Joe Biden, I'm starting to wonder if maybe this is a precursor to cancer that we haven't picked up on. Because here's a third. I'm going to give you a third. And this isn't cancer, but it was concocculus meningitis. It was black mold-induced meningitis, okay, that this person had. But the first telltale signs to me that there was something wrong with this person before we found out what was going on was a same type of cognitive disconnect, where I remember looking at this person and going, I know you're smarter than this. Why are you not putting these two things together? Like, this is simple. This is basic stuff here that you're not putting together. And I actually apologized to this person, because I got mad at this person thinking that they were just gaslighting me or whatever, when the truth is they had black mold growing in their brain. That's what concocculus meningitis is. When they had a spinal tap done, there was actually black mold floating in their spinal fluid. This person was then obviously immediately admitted into the hospital and went through treatment. And I'm telling you, the treatment was horrendous. It was pretty much equal to, if not equivalent of, cancer treatment, the green neon liquid that this person took. But I'm starting to wonder if maybe there is a telltale sign that our bodies are trying to give us of a cognitive disconnect. Maybe the body pulls brain function in, like, as a sign of like focusing on something else. And I don't know, maybe, just maybe, this could be something that in the future we could kind of look for as in a precursor to diagnosis of things. I'm not saying that, it's for everybody, but it's like one of those things that I just found very similar in several cases that I've witnessed myself. This is also kind of when I really wish that I had been alive when both my grandmothers had cancer, because I had one grandmother that died from bone cancer, and actually I had three grandmothers died from cancer. Another grandmother died from liver cancer, and I'm not quite entirely sure what the third what the actual cancer was that the third one died from, but I know they died from cancer. And I often wonder if maybe they're precursor to the actual diagnosis, if maybe there was a cognitive disconnect that they could, it's just something that I noticed. And I wonder if this is something that the doctors could look into and study. Because I remember Kelly making it very clear. And the only reason I bring this up and I put this two together is A, they're making such a big deal about Biden, and B, I remember Kelly really making it clear that she couldn't really think straight. So it's one of those things that really, really, really stood out to me, to two very prominent people that seem to both be fighting, or thank God Kelly is done and over with her cancer, and she's rung the bell and everything. You go, girl. You did it. I knew you would be fine. I said it from the beginning that you were going to be fine. There was so many messages on the other side of, no, this happened in order to bring everybody together. And from what I can see, it kind of did. The whole Dance Mom family is back together. God works in mysterious ways. Kelly was the only one strong enough to be able to fight it. She did it. And you guys, if you saw Kelly go through her cancer experience, she really went through it like a champion. She didn't complain. She didn't whine. She didn't moan. She had good days. She had bad days, but for the most part, she really was a trooper through all of it. So, and if you know anybody who's been through cancer, yeah, it's such. But on a good note, happy news. Now that we're talking about cancer, they have announced that they have come up with a cure for certain types of cancer. I believe it's part of the pancreatic family, but it's lymph node based, I believe, cancers that they actually have a cure now, an actual cure. Take it by mouth. It's a pill. They catch it within the first or second stages of the disease. Guys, we're getting closer and closer. So hopefully by the time I pass away and our grandchildren are old enough, we will actually have cancer eradicated. And, we won't have the younger generation who loses 3 out of 4 grandparents to cancer like I did. So, and then another grandmother because your grandfather decides to fall in love again. And then, cancer is evil. So on that note, I just thought this was really funny because this is something that I did not see coming for Meghan Markle, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. The fact that this woman they're questioning this woman's pregnancy now. They are now questioning Lilibet and whatever okay. And here's the thing, guys. I have no problem. I have no problem with you talking about Meghan Markle and Harry and all their stupid, ridiculous, dramatic mistakes that they're making in every part of their life, from social front to family front to business front. However, leave the kids out of it. Leave the kids out of it. If inevitably it comes out in the future that something about Lilibet or their birth is because they figured it out and came out with it, then okay. But as far as I'm concerned, these people digging into the children of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, y'all got issues. Y'all got issues. I don't give a damn if whatever succession or whether or not they should be who cares? Okay. They're never going to be in the line of succession anyway. So stop ripping these people apart about having to figure out whether or not. Stop it. Leave the children alone. That is just something that I had to come up with because I have made so much commentary on Meghan Markle and Harry, and it's going to get worse because evidently my prediction came true about there being information connecting Harry to the diddly thing. So my prediction with that is coming true. And that's why there's a part of me where I'm just like, there is going to be enough. There's going to be absolutely enough for these children to have to go through counseling for. Please stop with ripping them apart and trying to figure out if they are legitimate heirs to the family. Leave it alone. They're never going to be in the seat anyway, so leave it alone. So on that note, we're going to jump into another 20-minute sprint, but when we get back, I have some little rants to go off about in regards to predictions because when I heard the increase to minimum wage in California just went up to $30, major predictions came in. And just scanning through things, my angels brought in predictions for the McBroom family, Logan Paul, Jack Doherty, and then I've got a list of people that are attached to the diddler situation that we're gonna name, that I basically got. These people these people better keep a heads up and watch out because inevitably, if they don't navigate things the way Taylor Swift is navigating with the Blake Lively situation, the fall of Hollywood could be bigger than what I predicted or what I saw. So on that note, we're going to jump into another 20-minute sprint. And for anybody who's asking, yes, I did mute it. Here's why. And we're probably going to have a muted timer from now on. And here's why. When it comes to me editing from Rants, for the rants without sprints, it's a lot easier to time mark when like seeing it in the search bar when there's no volume. It's the quickest way and easiest way for me to edit it, guys. And that's something I figured out doing 174 videos in 5 days. So if you're wondering why, that is why. Don't fix your monitors. Don't check your stuff. There's just not going to be any sound from now on because, well, y'all listen to your own music anyway. And it's so much easier for me to edit in the long run. So I will see you all in 20 minutes. And we'll be talking about some major predictions that I got coming up. So I was going to say 3, 2, 1, but my finger went too fast. So 3, 2, 1, sprint. Sprint! Well, that's the end of that sprint, and I should really pay attention to the time before I say, oh, and after this sprint, we're gonna, because yeah, we're at the end of the sprint, and I kind of don't have enough time to talk about my predictions, but we're gonna cover them anyway, because if I don't cover them now, I'm gonna forget. But I need to remember to do that for myself in the future. Okay, so, and give me a second, because a couple things went awry behind the scenes, including my seat cushion getting all rich to my dude. So, couple predictions I have in regards to things coming up, and I'm going to try to do this quick because we're at the end of the stream. So, first thing is when I heard that LA is increasing the minimum wage for hotel and those kind of workers up to $30 an hour. Well, the problem is the first thing my angels said is, what about the Olympics? There's going to be a lot of people coming in town for the Olympics. And if they do this, there's not going to be enough hotels available because there's not going to be enough workers. Because even though this is going to be very controversial for me to say, but I'm still going to say it. When it comes to hotels and workers in hotels in San Diego, with the mass deportation of illegal immigrants and now the wage hike up to $30 for minimum wage workers, hotels are not going to have the funds nor the employees to be able to keep running, basically. A lot of these smaller hotels that aren't maybe large chain hotels, and even some large chain hotels in California could be shutting down because of this. My angels are basically, they're like, why don't you just shoot tourism in the ass even more? I mean, we already burnt down Hollywood. What else? Like, literally, Mother Nature already set fire to LA. Like, why are the people now doing it? And Governor Newsom is just making things worse anyway. So, number two, the Catherine and McBroom, the whole McBroom debacle. My angels, when I saw that Catherine McBroom came forward and basically let everybody know that she's writing a book, I was like, at first I was like, oh, good for you, put your story out. My angels were like, not so fast. Here's the problem with this. Catherine McBroom may be using this book to try to, she's trying to fix a narrative that's already in play. The only problem is my angels are telling me that with the way the book is, it's actually going to expose more about her than him, because the followers that she has love her because they think that she's been truthful, honest, and everything else. And in exposing him and what he was doing and everything else about their relationship, she's going to be exposing herself, and it's not going to be exposure in a good way. Before I continue, I want to add this in because, Cora, I saw you put these in a while ago and I didn't click on them, and I am sorry, girl. First of all, saw the article where the plantation burnt down. It's and did you see that there's still no cause for what caused the fire of the plantation other than possible spontaneous combustion? Number two, yes. And I might just start calling him Tootsie Roll after if you haven't heard, I highly recommend going in and typing in his name and Tootsie Roll and seeing what comes up, because evidently the one piece of information that I was told that would basically, the people that I know that were victims of him, this was a piece of information that they had told me that they basically said would confirm who the real victim are. Kind of like how somebody else had a little deformity and that's how they were able to prove the same thing. So yeah, not just in size or length, but in girth as well, evidently. So and for work, I take it this is during the sprint, you chased after the kids and got 1 minute of video editing done. Hey, you got a minute. We all know that it takes like 10 minutes to get a minute of editing done. So, and yeah, so that song to me has a whole new meaning now. And if you didn't, and for you young people, if you didn't know there was a song called Tootsie Roll, yeah, it's like a 1990s Tootsie Roll. It's a 1990s hip hop song, and it's go listen to the lyrics now, knowing what we know. So on that point, on that note, I basically see that the McBrooms, whatever financial gains they're trying to get and future whatevers that they're trying to get from putting out this book and exposing all of this, it's going to cataclysm. It's going to blow up in their face. The old PR tricks aren't going to work anymore. If anything, Catherine just exposed that she's a complete liar to all of her fans as much as Austin is. And that's basically what I see. We'll have to see what happens. The next thing I saw, this came out of nowhere for me because I was giggling because like Austin McBroom and Logan Paul used to be kind of, I don't know why, but they used to be parallel to me. Like either they were in the news together at the same time with the same drama, or somehow, some way they were connected in drama together. But basically, after I was doing the whatever on the McBrooms, they basically threw in, they're all like, oh yeah, and that whole UFC crap, that Logan Paul debacle is going to fail too. I have no idea what this is about. I actually had it in my notes to look this up because I was like, I didn't know that Logan Paul was part of the UFC, but evidently there's something going on there. So I'm going to have to look that up and figure it out. But they're referencing that this connection and whatever's going on here will be the end of Logan Paul's career as much as the book will end the McBroom's careers. The next thing that they came up, and this was kind of funny because they're like, and speaking of careers ending, Jack Doherty, number one, he came on my radar because at the same time that Jack Doherty started getting into trouble on mainstream whatevers and Twitch and everything else, Shannon Doherty, I was working with Shannon. I feel like guys, again, I don't have proof, but I feel like I've been in communication with Shannon Doherty on the other side. Like I feel like her and a couple, like she's part of my, there's a crew that I work with that are from Hollywood, and she's part of them. And he came on my radar because the last name, that's what picked me up on him originally. But then just basically they're showing me with Jack Doherty, he is going to be the perfect example of how, if this year you try to rewrite your narrative by repeating history with somebody new, because evidently he's trying to restart his career with a new girlfriend, doing the OnlyFans and everything else that he did with the first one. It's going to show just how horribly it fails. Karma is not going to, they're basically, the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting new results. And this is basically what Jack Doherty is going to be facing with this new girlfriend of his. Logan Paul is signed to the WWE, which is also owned by TKO, who owns UFC. See, and I feel like there's something going on here where like he's in talks with the UFC and something there, and something's going on, and basically they're referencing that he's hoping, because what the Tyson fight kind of solidified things for a lot of people, but there's still a lot of people that were there for the yeah, and it's because of the Tyson fight. So I have a feeling that they're going to try to switch him over to the UFC to try to gain a different following. But it's like something about this is like, you thought the WWE fans hated him. It's MMA. There's MMA too. See, and they just threw that in. Something about MMA, the MMA fighting too. I have a feeling that the MMA haters, the MMA fighters or fans probably hate him just as much. But dude, I used to be a huge MMA and UFC fan until I started watching all the, dude, there's just about 2000, I think it was like 2009, 2010, the UFC fights just started feeling like they were so rigged to me that I stopped watching them. Right now he has a match Saturday and nobody cared. Wow. Well, there's something going on here where basically, yeah, Logan Paul needs to go find a job. Basically, he needs to go find a regular job and stop trying to be famous. It's not going to work out for him. And it's basically like, wow, it's just came in strong. It's like they're basically saying he had his chance. He was handed a gift, and he decided to do what he did with it. And now he's trying to repeat history, and it's going to fail even harder. So again, it's one of those things. Well, that's basically might be what it is how they're giving us examples of people who keep trying to repeat what they've done. Like by the end of this year, the level of insanity is going to be proven to them. So we'll see what happens. But in regards to Mr. Tootsie Roll, my angels, I can't. Okay, first of all, you guys, the whole reason that I can't recap a lot of what's going on in the case is well, yeah, I'm not a big enough channel. YouTube tends to strike stuff like that down. B, PTSD. I know people that survived these parties, the stuff that's going on. I've held enough crying girls in my arms. I don't need to watch people go through it on the stand. It's just something I can't do. I respect my mental health. So, however, I am doing my best on keeping up with the little details because a lot of my, like Emily D. Baker, and there's another channel that tends to do little quick picks on it, and I'm able to keep up with what's going on. However, when I heard the most recent recap of events, because Cassie, thank God she's finished with her testimony because she's 8 months pregnant and nobody seems to be reporting on that. But my angels came flying in saying, remember how we talked about that figure 8 of SA? There's something where Jay-Z, Beyonce, J-Lo, Prince Harry, and everyone in between, all the way down to Miley Cyrus, the full exposure of how much Hollywood is involved and the truths that have been held behind closed doors is going to be exposed. The thing is Tootsie Roll thought that there were going to be people who came to his rescue. He really thought that people were going to come and defend him and stand up for him and come to his aid. And he's quickly finding out that nobody in Hollywood has your back. And like those of us that have learned Hollywood and didn't get caught up in the whole, yes people, learned the hard lesson that Hollywood is full of a bunch of fake yes people. And the truths, if you don't play the game, if you don't play along, if you don't sweep the stuff under the rug and keep the truths hidden, you wouldn't make it. Well, that's what's changing in Hollywood. They've already burned it down physically. They're now changing the wages where probably the Olympics is not going to happen in LA. People are vacating California because of Newsom like no other. And there's something about this case where basically any scrap that Hollywood is holding onto will be completely destroyed by the end of this. So he did interviews with WrestleMania. The Logan Paul did interviews with WrestleMania the weekend, and something fell off. Like he was on some. They're all on something. Well, and we got to be careful with this because they claimed the same thing about a couple of world leaders that were meeting up, that he snatched away a tissue and it was actually a bag of whatever. And when you looked at it and zoomed in on it, you could tell it was a tissue. And honestly, if I had a dirty tissue sitting on my table and I was on the world news, yeah, you best believe I would snatch it up as fast as he did and tuck it away, because I don't want nobody seeing my dirty tissues on. I mean, that's just, you're presenting yourself on the world front. You don't want to have your dirty tissues on the table. I get it. It didn't at all look like a bag of anything. Truthfully, it didn't even look like a baggie. Like, I was laughing when they came up with that. However, the glasses of margaritas, we have that whole situation too, where somebody decided to go down to El Salvador and have margaritas with somebody else on America's dime. Anyway, so we have to be a little bit careful with that, because the media seems to be sensationalizing certain things lately, when before, with certain presidents' sons and certain things being found in the White House, they didn't. So it was a way Logan was talking. Hall of Fame is a serious thing, and it was like he wasn't taking it serious. Logan Paul doesn't take anything serious, and I don't mean joking around. Well, that's the problem with Logan Paul. He doesn't take anything serious. And like he could be wearing $1 million suit from Versace, walking into the Met Gala, and he would be throwing paintball guns, or he'd be shooting a paintball gun into the crowd if he could. Like, the man doesn't take himself seriously ever, so he's never going to take anything seriously. And I thought he would change as soon as he had kids. There's just some men that really actually don't ever grow up. If you have a child and you are still doing everything you can to be in the public eye while under the influence of even alcohol, I mean, frankly, I don't think you should be like, yeah, let's not get into my whole controversies on it. I don't have a kid. I shouldn't be giving parenting advice, and I'm the last one who should be giving it out. So anyway, on that note, we are going to end our little rant because it is the end of our stream, and I did go over a little bit. throwing in those quick rants. So those were just some real quick predictions. Will you move? Thank you. Just some real quick predictions of things that might be coming up in the future. We'll see what happens. Oh, and Taylor Swift, if you're listening, you're not out of the woods yet, but I definitely can see that you are navigating it as best you can. So, and I give you props for it. Keep going, because you got a little bit more to go. I could give the parenting advice yet. We'll have you give the parenting advice. I will keep my mouth shut. Anyway, so on that note, we are going to end the stream because, guys, I've got other work to do. And yeah, it is the end of the stream. So if you'll raise your glasses and we'll do our little cheers out. I need to check some things first because, yeah, Kibby forgot to change over the media assets from last week, didn't we? Yes, we did. So we want that one. Okay, so raise your glasses and I will see you guys on Wednesday. For now, may your angels be strong, may your energies be positive, and may karma be ever in your favor. Bye.